Welcome. I'd like to welcome everyone this morning to our first date with the Bossier Chamber. Today's topic is public policy. And today our guest speaker is State Representative Dodie Horton, who was elected to office in 2015. And she serves on several committees at the state legislature, and including House Governmental Affairs, Labor and Industrial Relations, Transportation, Highways, Public Works, Legislative Bureau Chairman, and House Select Committee on Women and Children, House Select Leadership Committee, Legislative Women's Caucus, Republican Legislative Delegation, Rural Caucus, and also the North Louisiana Legislative Delegation. And for those of us that know Dodie and Representative Horton well, we know that she listens to her constituents and that she is a representative of the people, and that is why we appreciate and love her so very much. Today, we have asked her to join us because she has asked to be on a certain committee because of it is our 10-year census year. Most of you are familiar with that, and which also means redistricting. So Dodie, I'm sorry, I need to call you Representative Horton.
No, I am Dodie. Dodie, I am, and you're too kind. That introduction is just so kind. I'm so humbled by that, because we know I'm the least of them there, and it's just about the people, and I'm just so blessed beyond measure. So thank you, Lisa, for your longtime friendship and your advocacy on behalf of our businesses in Bossier and beyond. Truly.
Well, we appreciate you being here with us today, and all the hard work that you do. And you know, we ask you all, those of you that are joining us today, if you want your voice to be heard, and we need small businesses' voices to be heard, small, medium, and large businesses, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call them and talk to them. And with Representative Horton, we can do that. And she has an opening ear, and she listens, and it's like, okay, let me see what I can do. And if there's something that maybe we don't agree with completely, we talk about it. And that's absolutely what we love about you, Representative Horton. So I am going to turn it over to you. And I believe it's the redistricting falls under the House and Governmental Affairs Committee.
Correct. And then it'll go to the Senate Governmental Affairs Committee. And I specifically wanted to be on this committee because of redistricting, you know, and I know it's going to be a very hard and long process, but I mean, in our whole committee, our chairman, very committed to following the law to a T and letting the data dictate the districts. I mean, that's it. The data will dictate how the districts are drawn up, and so I'm anxious to get started. And again, it's later than normal for us. We haven't gotten our numbers yet, and so as soon as we do, I think our chairman will start scheduling our trips around the state. We'll go to every city or parish and get public input, which is key, always key to everything that we do, and then get down to it. So I'm looking forward to it. I thank you for the honor of being here. And so, do you ready for me to start?
Yes, ma'am. If you would please just share with us what the process is. Why is it important that we engage in this process, and what does it mean for our state and our regions when the decisions are made as it relates to representation, money, and things of that nature? So I'll just let you start at whatever point you want to, and we'll fill in the gaps.
Well, I appreciate it so much. So apportionment is the method of equal proportions is what has been used and was adopted in 1941. The primary mandate behind the conduct of the federal decennial census is the apportionment of the seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Since the first census in 1790, 5 methods of apportionment have been used. The current method is the method of equal proportions and was adopted by Congress in 1941. This method assigns seats in the House of Representatives according to the priority value. Now, the priority value is determined by multiplying the population of a state by a multiplier. Like the first of each 50 states will be given, out of a total of 435 seats, will be given 1 seat immediately. And then the next thing, or the 51st seat, goes to the state with the highest priority value and becomes the state's second seat. And this continues until all 435 seats have been assigned to a state. So, and then in redistricting, the districts are geographical territories from which officials like myself are elected. And so what is redistricting? Of course, it's the process of drawing lines for each district. And who's responsible for redistricting? The state legislature is. The House and Senate are House and Senate, House Governmental Affairs on the House side, and then the Senate Governmental Affairs, and then we have we redistrict for the Congress seats, Public Service Commission, State Board of Elementary, Bessie, courts, including Justice of the Peace. It is all enacted by the state legislature as laws. The election districts for school boards and our local governing authority, like the police jury, they do their own redistricting. And why must we redistrict every 10 years, or really the 11th year? Article 3 of the Constitution of Louisiana contains the requirements for the deadline for legislative redistricting, and then various statutes involving local districting bodies contain redistricting duties and deadlines. But the general legal requirements that will be our guiding factor will be the Equal Protection Law and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And so, like I said, the laws will be our guide. That is what we will strictly adhere to. Louisiana legislator, Louisiana constitutional provisions, Article 1, Section 1 requires single member districts. Article 3, Section 3 provides a maximum number of members, 39 senators and 105 state representatives. Article 3, Section 6 says if the legislature fails to accomplish its reapportionment by the end of the year following the year in which the decennial census population of the state is reported to the president, any elector can petition the Louisiana Supreme Court to do it for us. It must be reapportioned based upon census population data. That's why I begged our constituents and all the legislators begged people to fill out their information, which was not very invasive to me, but we go by the population that's living there at the time, not the voter registration box, by the people who actually live here. And you know, Barksdale is accredited to our districts here, to Bossier Parish mainly. So it's so important. So I'm anxious to see how we did. You know, I really am, because by the latest numbers that I have for District 9 alone, which was shrunk after in 2011 when they did the redistricting, and since Bossier Parish is growing continuously, I have 48,679 people living in District 9 according to the last numbers that I've got, which is not the official numbers from that has been collected by the census. But so I will be shrinking District 9 even more. So it's gonna be interesting. Now the federal law, let's talk about equal population. One person, one vote. Population equality, how is that measured? Ideal population, total state population divided by the number of districts, the deviation amount which a single district population differs from the ideal. The standards, there's different standards that this says for Congress and state legislative districts, because it's based on different legal provisions. Congress, as nearly equal in population as practical, represent shall be a portion among the states according to the respective numbers. A deviation and overall range as close to zero as possible. Again, you never deviate from the dictates of the Constitution, and if at all possible. And so that's our goal. Equal population, see the standards, different standards for Congress again, and legal districts. State legislature the substantial equality of population among the various districts. It's based on the equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment, 10% standard. Which means generally a legislative plan with an overall range of less than 10% is not enough to make a prima facie case of individuals' discrimination. So I'm not quite sure what our ideal number will be, because the federal law, equal population, one person, one vote standard, applies across the board except to judicial districts. It does not apply to judicial districts. Let's talk about racial gerrymandering. Equal protection clause, the 14th Amendment, says if race is found to be the predominant overriding factor, strict scrutiny should apply. It will apply. That should not be the factor. The numbers are the numbers. That's it. And the data is the data. And what must the state prove for the plan to survive strict scrutiny? A law narrowly tailored to serve a compelling state interest. Partisan gerrymandering. I think that is done for, I mean, I was told that had been done for a long time, and for decades. It says courts have dealt with claims that partisan gerrymanders violate the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court has been unable to determine a standard to examine these claims. But in some states, this type of legislation and protest have just been moved to the state courts. So forgive me, guys, but this is learning with you all the specifics.
You are doing fine. It is a very detailed process, and folks need to understand it. And so we appreciate you going through the details.
No, I do appreciate y'all, because it is based on law, and so we are very confident, and we're blessed to have Chairman Stefanski, who is an attorney and not necessarily a constitutional attorney, but he's an attorney, and we have a very capable staff that's been through this before, Trish Lowry mainly, and we will, have attorneys on all sides. Our Democrat friends will have an attorney, as the Republicans, so all together, working together, we should make sure that that the law has been followed, and because without the law, it would be all over the place.
Representative Horton, this is going to be the first time, I believe, in decades that that the state actually looks at the Supreme Court seats. Is that correct?
I didn't know that. I don't know about that.
So
I haven't heard that, and I've not asked that question. So, but we definitely do set the lines or the districts for those. Right. For all the courts, but yeah, it said now, when discussing the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and with about discrimination against minorities, that Voting Rights Act prohibits any state or political subdivision from imposing a voting qualification, standard, practice, or procedure that results in the denial or abridgment of any U.S. citizen's right to vote on account of race, color, status as a member of a language minority group. I mean, we're way past that, praise God. And I'm very proud of the way our country has corrected the wrongs of the past. When redistricting happens, there were unprecedented delays. We all know there's unprecedented delays on the census at this time. Normally we would have already received the numbers, but we missed all the federal laws reporting deadlines, including the apportionment data released. It should have been released by December 31st, 2020, and the redistricting data released by April 1st, 2021, which it has not. See, April 26, 2021 census released the apportionment data. By August 16, 2021, the census should have announced that it would release a legacy format of the redistricting data. I've not seen anything. And so it says by September 30th, 2021, the census plans to release the redistricting data in easy to use tables, which is very, very important for us, you know, and for the general public. We have to understand what we're looking at and be able to comprehend it.
Yes, ma'am. I think Jessica, as our producer, she has put up the slide with all of those dates for everyone to be able to see as you're going through those.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. She's so good. You know, it's in the public hearings for redistricting is going to be vital to the process. And I read a quote by Thomas Jefferson, and I just can't remember if I can remember it word for word, but basically, if the majority fails to be involved, then our country fails. Everyone needs to be involved in this process if at all possible, because we're America, and we need everyone to care about this very important process, to be involved in this process and to feel good about it, to feel that, you know, our legislature had our backs and they did everything according to law, because again, law will dictate this process and we're committed to that. And so I'm just excited to be here. So I'm glad you put those numbers up, because it's going to be we're going to get with it. It looks like in September. I was told late August or early September. It looks like it has to be at November. I mean, we need to get this done and go into a special session at least by January, February, I would think. So I see that now. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be fast and furious. And I was told, Dodie, you're not going to make many friends. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not worried about doing anything but representing the people according to the dictates of our law. I don't know why anybody would be mad about that, y'all. Let's see here. It says Louisiana, this is an interesting number. Louisiana's apportionment population is 4,661,468. And it includes 3,711 overseas military and civilian personnel and family members attributed to Louisiana. Louisiana's resident population is close to the same, 4,657,757. This is the state population number used to determine the ideal district population for each district in the various statewide redistricting plans. So I remember in 2011, the ideal number was 43,000 for each house, state representative and house. Let's see, and there's a map. You see the map here. And when it comes to the congressional seats, you see we have 6, and Lord willing, we'll be able to maintain those 6, hold on to those 6 seats. And then she'll show you the population changed. We have had a decline, it appears to be, but again, in the South generally, you see the difference in the numbers. I don't know if you can see them on there, but it's interesting to see what we're looking at as of today. Let me go through here. And if you want to get to the map that shows the percentage change in population for the U.S. region, then it's easier to read, where it shows the north, south, east, and west, and the differences in population like that. Oh. Yeah. So you can see.
That is a very interesting map.
Yeah, it is. So you can see how it's changed from 2011. To when they redistrict then, but it is, you know, there's a lot of different reasons for it we don't need to go into, but it's interesting. Now it looks like on the next slide, the House ideal district population, it appears it will be 44,359. So that's the numbers have grown per parish for the ideal number. And so that's going to be reflective of District 9, you know, for sure. It'll have to be population will have to go to different places, because again, we have too many in District 9. So that's going to be interesting. I haven't discussed anything that has to do with it, any redrawing of lines, because we cannot do that. We haven't gone through, even begun the process. So that's not going to happen until we have true transparency. So
Was that my cue not to ask you the question?
Yes, that is it. Is it have not, you can go to where it shows the Bessie ideal Bessie population, district population, and yeah, that's right. You show the Senate, and this is Bessie, so you can see how many people when you run for Bessie seat. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of campaigning. And then let's see what the next one is. And then you had the Public Service Commission ideal district population. And yeah, it's interesting. And then you have Congress. So, and I don't think the numbers have changed a lot for Congress. It looks like that we, you know, I don't know how we could have lost a lot of population when our numbers for these districts are growing. So, you know what I mean? You have more people, maybe, I don't know. But
so Representative Horton, if I may, for those that are looking here, since you're not really until the process officially starts to talk about it, I just want to remind our folks these congressional districts are what critically, or all the districts are critically important, but these are critically important for funding and representation.
right.
From what we are seeing, as Representative Horton has said, is that it doesn't appear that we're going to lose any seats, but we do have some neighboring states that will gain. As the population has shifted, which we do this every 10 years, these district lines will have to be redrawn in some form or fashion. The priority for the business community and other civic leaders and officials up in North Louisiana, is for us to maintain 2 districts. And so I'm asking those that are listening to, if you're not familiar with this process, if you're not familiar with the needs and you have any questions, to please reach out to any of us at any of the regional chambers or economic development foundations, and we will let you know. As you see, District 4, which is Congressman Mike Johnson, it incorporates all of the west side of Louisiana pretty much. The 2 critical points here is that if we maintain 2 districts for North Louisiana, 4 and 5, then North Louisiana will have 2 voices at a federal level.
Right.
We also want to maintain this linear district so that Barksdale Air Force Base and Fort Polk remain in the same district, so that we're not competing for dollars, because we have so much that with these 2 installations that we work together on. So I thank you for sharing this map with us, and that's Lisa's editorial on that for this moment. More will be coming out from the Bossier Chamber, Shreveport Chamber, the African American Chamber, as we're all going to come together to help folks understand why we need to keep these districts as similar as possible, because population, as you said, Representative Horton, is shifting, and we do know other parts of the state are working very closely to keep the areas that they want together as well. So anyway, I'll stop right there. Thank you very much for sharing.
I appreciate your advocacy for our 2 North Louisiana congressional districts, and so it's going to be interesting, to see how it plays out, because look at Barksdale, it's our largest economic driver. It's our largest employer besides the school board, the second to that, and with the 220 extension into Barksdale, and then their commitment to build a new weapons storage facility, it's going to bring, I was told, over 800 new airmen and civilian jobs. And you can't find a house pretty much for sale in Bossier Parish. And in my area, I've talked to realtors. I said, if you sell yours, you better have a place to buy, because there's just not enough. And so I guess that's a great problem to have. And when I was at a redistricting, a meeting about the process, and that's all, getting educated on the process. They showed a huge map, and they had north of I-10, they had one green spot, and green is the color of growth, and that was Bossier Parish. I'm very proud of that. That was north of I-10. Everything was brown but Bossier Parish. And I commend the city of Bossier and the police jury and the chambers and citizens, the school board for that growth. And it takes a team to build a great place to live. And so I thank you all for everything that you've done.
Yes, ma'am. Well, and as another little gee whiz, it's not really directed towards redistricting specifically, but because of the growth numbers that you're talking about, we're also anticipating in your district, the town of Halton becoming a city. And that's I know that is so exciting. That means more federal dollars and opportunities that will come into the eastern side of the parish with Halton. And so we're working very closely with the mayor on that. And
that's huge. Thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. When I met my husband almost 45 years ago, I was born and raised in Southern Hills in Shreveport. I never heard of Halton. I mean, when he brought me out here, I thought I had to make a lunch. It was so far away, it seemed. And we had one red light, and I asked him, where's the street lights? He said, there's not any street lights out here. So where's the sidewalks? You know, so has it changed? Oh my goodness. And I would never want to live anywhere else, but it has grown in an unprecedented way, and to be able to handle the growth, you have to have great structure. And with the help of our Bossier Parish Police Jury and the town of Halton now, the Mayor Gaspard and the new council that's taken over, and along with the guidance of Bossier and the chamber, you're just essential to our economic development growth, and to be able to do it in a uniform manner. It's just so exciting. And I'm just blessed to have to be a part if they need anything from the state. And so it's exciting. But I can tell you with redistricting, we, those of us on the committee take it it's a very serious process that they're very focused on doing it all according to the dictates of the data, the dictates of the law, and the data again will be our guide. And I'm just hoping and that it'll go without a hitch. I know I was probably asking a lot, but I believe the more involvement, the smoother the ride. And I'm looking forward to hearing and representing the people in the manner they should be represented.
If there is anyone that is that has joined us, and we greatly appreciate you being here. If you have a question, if you're on the Zoom meeting, you can put that in the chat box. If you're on the Facebook Live, you can put it in the comments. Again, this is a process that happens every 10 years, and it's not a process that is for our elected officials only to go through. We all need to be engaged with this so that they understand where our priorities are, so that will assist them in making those decisions that are best for all of us collectively and together.
And Lisa, if you don't mind me mentioning,
sure.
Bossier Parish has four state representatives representing parts of it. Raymond Cruz and I have the largest part, but we have Thomas Presley coming into South Bossier. We have Wayne McMahon coming into all of the Bossier Park side of Lake Bistineau, all the way, I believe, up to Taylortown. We have Danny McCormick from North Shreveport coming into the Plain Dealing area. So it's amazing for Bossier Parish to have that much representation. When you think about it, people really don't realize. Excuse me, Sam Jenkins, my good friend from Shreveport, yes, coming down into Bossier, where the boardwalk in the area is. I had forgotten about that. So it's amazing how many people live here and how we have a great. I'm honored to work with these people with a common goal to do what's best for our sister cities. And so we're really blessed to have good people like Sam and Danny and Thomas and Alan Seball, who is a supporter, and then this delegation is committed to the growth of our cities, and so. But to have Bossier Parish to have that many different representatives part of it, I don't know how precedented that is, but it just blows my mind.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to ask Jessica if she'd put the slide up with all of the critical dates one more time for us to kind of embed those in our memory. And so we have that slide back up there again. And so we've already passed bullet 1 and 2. So again, by August 16th, the census has announced it will release a legacy format of the redistricting data. A lot of this is, as Representative Horton has said, is a little late, and that's because of the unprecedented pandemic that we've gone through, and that's pushed a lot of things. So that means that when these decisions for these future dates are going to be made, the time frame is much smaller to make those decisions than it was when we did this 10 years ago.
Correct.
So, and then September 30th is another date. Public hearings will start in the fall. There is a website that y'all have, redistricting website, that can be found. Correct. And we can share that information with you all. That will keep all of us up to date on the dates and when the public hearings are happening and everything else. And then we could have a special session. It's called an extraordinary session for redistricting in 2022, and then the elections. So the constitutional deadline for the legislature is December 31st to accomplish the state redistricting, December 31st, 2022. So just kind of wanted to go back through that again. Because I think, Representative Horton, this is where we are. And people just knowing to pay attention, please, and be ready.
So, right, and it's going to be fast and furious, as you can see. In 2011, they had almost a full year to do that, and we don't. And so that it's and I'm sure we'll be talking, because I'm going to make sure on my social media, as well as I know you and all the different groups will make sure that people have an opportunity to know where, who, what, when, where, and that's going to be very important. And every time we have, just like the roadshow for transportation, Bossier Parish shows up larger than anyone, and and that's what our chairman has said going across the state, that Bossier Parish they are there, and they let the request be known, and that is huge. And then when we go forward with our projects, it's not a hard sell, because all the leadership comes together and has one focused plan, and so it makes a difference. So thank you for the opportunity, guys. I'm learning with you. We'll go through this together, and I look forward to your involvement, because again, it's key to doing this right. So thank you, Lisa, for the opportunity.
And thank you, Representative Horton. We're so honored to have you with us today, and we appreciate all the hard work that you do for us down in Baton Rouge, and representing not only your district, but also all of Bossier Parish, as you partner, as you said, with those other legislative officials that we have representing our area. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed day, and stay cool out there, and we'll see you on the next Zoom meeting.
Sounds great. Thank you,
or
Lisa.
in person.
I hope so. Bye.